So it is working. That is very good, right? So let me get a link up for us here, and we will talk about this market in review. As you ladies and gentlemen know, right, it's been kind of a crazy market, kind of a hectic market, right? And we've been warning folks pretty much every day, on the hour, to just be careful and just to watch out for this stock market, okay? We've been warning you, Megan. I dropped the link down in the chat. Could you go grab that in the Discord and pin it?
Yep.
Thank you so much. Yeah, cause I gotta go now. Make sure that we got a screen. Okay, just give me a second, y'all. Kind of got a little bit of a later start because this whole thing done crashed on us, but it's all good. We ain't gonna let the devil steal our joy, right? All right, so okay, this is looking pretty good. Okay, very good. All right. Okay, so now let me open up the room to the rest of y'all. Boom. There we go. And let me get the link also to the Telegram groups. All right. Make sure everybody is in and everybody is invited to the party. Oh, that's not the link. This is the link. Oh no. Oh, copy link. Got you. Okay. There it is. All right, and here we go. All right. So let's get started here. Right. So, all right. So let's just take a gander at the QQQ. Right. The Qs is pretty much something you folks ought to be looking at pretty much every day, right? What's happening with the Qs is gonna determine what really happens in the broader market. I know that there's the Dow, but nobody really cares. All right, so what do we see here, right? This kind of looks like a very kind of broken head and shoulders. This also looks kind of like a stair stepper down, and we're trying to sit on a support level between 323 and about 320, right? And so I would say that we are kind of on the knife's edge here on the Qs, right? And once we kind of break that 320 support level, I mean, we're coming down about 310 and 300, right? And we've been talking about it for a few weeks now, and I understand you probably get up and you look and you say, but Charles, you know, it keeps going up and down. Well, you know, the market doesn't move in a straight line, right? And so, again, we have a stair stepper down. The kind of model that we're looking at here is kind of skewed because of this big left arm that looks like really gigantic, right? But I mean, again, you're looking at the daily time frame, it doesn't look good. You look on the weekly time frame there, okay, and it looks even worse. I mean, it looks like the RSI is going to get pretty cold pretty soon on the weekly, but this just, I mean, team, this just looks ugly, right? There's nothing good here, right? Let me just look at the NQ futures, right? Because it's slightly cleaner chart because we wrote less on it, right? So, yeah, you could kind of make the judgment for yourself, right? That doesn't look good, okay? And again, we've been kind of fighting off of this 13,000, right? And so, yeah, and again, weekly time frame doesn't look that great. If you look at the monthly time frame here, again, fresh monthly MACD cross. We're sitting on a knife's edge, and to me, if it feels like we want to go down to 12,500 and possibly 11,700 on the Qs, right? On the NASDAQ futures, in the Qs, you're talking about 285, right? So again, price targets to the downside here, 320, 315, 300, and 285 on the Qs. That is the next notable support level there. If you guys want to figure out what these green lines are, these are gaps that are still open in the market, right? And so these are big, huge pandemic gaps. Now, there is kind of a bullish case to be made out here, right? it is possible. It is possible that we kind of come down here, we hit the 285, and then we just bounce like a devil and make all-time highs. That is possible, right? But again, I think we need to see a couple of things happen before we can start leaning in that direction. Number one, we need to see the VIX just absolutely get crumbled under 30, under 25, and under 20 to even think about, possibly going down further to bounce into all-time highs. We need to see inflation chilling out, right? And maybe we need to see the Fed to kind of scale back on their rate hikes, right? Or maybe one less rate hike, or, whatever. We need like very big substantial move to kind of hold back on this kind of like just onslaught of just not good news, onslaught of not good metrics, right? Again, if you've been following, right, you should know that our opinion that this is not all because of the war in Ukraine. We don't believe the war in Ukraine is the reason for all of this, right? We believe that this stuff is happening, right? Because, we were in just a very big, very great bull market for a very long time, and it's just time to chill out a little bit, The market is in cycles, I never really understood the knee-jerk reactions of like everybody when they're looking at the market, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is history making, blah 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 blah. Listen, the market moves in cycles, okay? It goes consolidation, uprise, consolidation, downside, right? That's it, okay? And right now we're in a phase 4 market phase on the weekly time frame, on the monthly time frame, and also in the daily time frame. This is a phase 4 market phase. I mean, I guess theoretically, if we kind of went sideways and just chopped around at these levels for a little bit, you can make an argument for a possible phase 1, right? But if you make a new low, then we're still in the phase 4. So that's pretty much it. Megan, could you please give us a little quick reset before we get to the other half of the show?
Absolutely. So thank you for joining the Brooklyn Traders tonight as Charles breaks down what happened this week and what we might be looking at going forward. If you haven't already, click the YouTube link above our heads. That way you can watch Charles break down the charts live, and you can see those KPPs, those key pivot points. You can see some support and resistance as he's talking about it. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're in there. The other thing is check out the party hat next to Charles's Brooklyn Traders little icon there. Make sure you follow him, the Brooklyn Traders, so that you can get notified if anything pops up, any rooms, and follow the Brooklyn Traders Clubhouse. Happy Friday, everybody. Charles, back to you.
Boom. Appreciate it. All right. So, back to the screen here. So, I want to direct everybody's attention here to the VIX, right? Because the VIX is doing something it doesn't typically do, and it's kind of scary, right? All right. Let's look at the VIX here. So far, right? The VIX is kind of making higher highs and making higher lows, right? Right now we're at a low, right? So let's see if next week we can kind of push back up to the high. I can't quite say if this looks like any kind of chart pattern right now, right? But, again, the VIX got knocked back pretty healthy yesterday, right? We had a pretty big run in the market the day before. And so, again, you can't really chart the VIX like you would other things. But the fact that we could actually look at this and make some kind of analysis of it is kind of scary, right? Here's something I want to show you here. That's the daily time frame, right? It looks like it's trending a little bit more upwards. I want to show everybody's attention to the weekly time frame, right? Let me actually look at VXX, right? Because that's an actual ETF with more metrics, and we could kind of track it here, right? And so VXX is kind of showing us a little bit of a signal here that hadn't printed out since before the pandemic, right? And so this is kind of scary, right? This indicator is not really supposed to be positive, especially not with the VIX. And right now the VIX is fighting up against the weekly 50, right? When the VIX gets up to the weekly 50, right, you do have the penchant for significant violence, right? And so, again, just something to think about, right? As long as the VIX, right, not the VXX, but the actual VIX, as long as the VIX is over 30, we're not really in a swing type of market. I can't say you could confidently swing, anything, longs or shorts, right? Because you have it's volatility, right? So it's going to be volatile. You have no idea what the day is going to bring you. Okay, so just something to consider there. All right, let's look at SPY real quick. Yeah, I mean, I would say that the SPY looks a little bit better than the Qs. Right now, it's in the wedge. It's kind of been in between this trading channel between 419 and 428. But if we kind of break again at 420 and then we get under 414, we're looking at SPY 400 team, right? Let's look at Apple. And again, if you guys remembered, right, and we're not going to cover a bunch of tickers today because I think we beat the hell out of lots of these, right? I think maybe just Apple and then maybe Tesla, right? Because I think Tesla's very interesting. So Apple here, right? Team, we talked about it, right? Apple was pretty much the last bastion of strength in the stock market, okay? This was the last ticker that was, as of a couple days ago or 2 weeks ago, this thing was kind of sitting at all-time, like pretty close to all-time highs, right? It wasn't, what's this? Less than a month ago, right? We were sitting at 170 here, okay? A little bit lower here. But right now, we're going to go test the February lows here, right? And again, team, it's not looking all that great, unfortunately. It is not looking all that great. And so, with that being said, man. Again, the same story, right? Weekly MACD cross here. It looks like the weekly 8 is about to cross under the weekly 21, which is going to be a very bearish signal when it happens. And let's look at the monthly time frame, which again, right? This is the only chart that's going to be in this market that looks like this, right? If you look at Apple here, right? Apple was the only big tech ticker that did not have a monthly short setup, right? And again, I understand that the month is not over, right? Very premature to even be talking about, a monthly short setup, right? Because we are in the beginning ends of the month. But team, anywhere, if we close here by the end of March, right, under 154, that is not going to be good. Not going to be a good situation. You can see right here, the monthly MACD looks like it's finna cross down there on Apple. And so, again, team, I don't really have good news for you, right? Because, again, Apple was the last bastion, right? I would say kind of Tesla too. And in this sense, right, Tesla, I guess, looks a bit better, kinda. We have a fresh monthly MACD cross right now, which isn't that great. For me, the thing that's interesting with Tesla here, at least the thing that I like about it, right, is, it's in a channel here, right? Between 795 and 850, 860, right? Kind of bouncing around like a ping pong ball, right? But which way is this thing going to resolve? Is it going to resolve to the upside? Going to resolve to the downside? I really cannot tell you, but one thing that I do know is that, again, Tesla, again, not close to all-time highs, right? But it's still relatively much higher than where it's been in the past, right? But, there's needs for concern here. Definitely needs for concern here. Let me look at the weekly time frame. Again, NG not good, right? So, team, I'm sorry. I don't really have too much in the way of really anything that looks really good or really substantial right now. And I'm trying to think if there's any kind of catalyst that could get this market going. I mean, of course, there's the war in Ukraine. I feel if Vladimir Putin and did I say Vladimir Putin? That's not his name. Dagnabbit. if Mr. Putin could shake it out with Zelensky, that would be great. Wait, no, his name is Vladimir. Megan, am I going crazy? Isn't his name Vladimir Putin? I think I'm going crazy, y'all.
Sorry, I'm doing tax returns while I'm listening to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Vladimir Putin. Okay. So yeah, if Mr. Putin and President Zelensky could actually hug it out, that would be fantastic. That would be great. That would give us a temporary boost in the market, but right now, if I had to say whether we should buy the dip or sell the rip, I would say that we sell the rip here. You know, we have a lot of pressure. Again, if you look at Tesla from the weekly time frame, right? I'm going to highlight this 8 here, right? And you have to be cognizant of this. The reason why we look at the 8 and the 21 is because these are two very strong moving averages, right? And notice how the price, right? We were holding the 8, holding the 8th, bounce off. We get under the 8. Okay, we kind of forced our way above it, but then we got squeezed down. And ever since we got squeezed down in the beginning of the month, we were just been riding down on this 8, right? We have just been riding down on that 8, right? And so, yeah. The 8 is kind of squeezing this down. 8 crossed under the 21. Again, that's bearish. 8 just crossed under what I believe is a 34. Yep, that's also bearish. So, again, not really too much here. In terms of what we got here. Again, folks, we've been preaching from the housetops since January. We reiterated right in February, and team, we're still here. We are still here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Megan, anything here before we tap out for the day?
No, I do not. I hope everybody has an awesome weekend and rest up, pray up, and be ready for Monday.
All right, team. So I want to thank everybody, and again, try to stay light in there. Keep a nice cash position. If you could scalp, try to. If not, sit back and just wait, right? Incrementally just add things long term of things that you like. But again, things will get a lot worse before they get better. And I promise you that, okay? Don't want to sound any significant alarms, but it is not looking good. You know what? Let's look at Bitcoin actually real quick because I haven't looked at Bitcoin in so long, but I kind of already know what the charts look like. And yeah, this is looking very double toppy right here on Bitcoin. It's 63,000, right? Yeah, we break 30 again, and it's a wrap. People always ask me what's a great price of Bitcoin. A great price of Bitcoin is 13,000. Anytime I say that, I get looks from people, but hey, I think that's a good price of Bitcoin. 11, 13,000, not 30. Okay. Weekly MACD cross here. Monthly MACD cross here on Bitcoin, right? So, one kind of scare or one kind of thing, and I think we're gonna squeeze down, break this 35, break 30, and then come down here to the 34 here, which is sitting at 25, right? So price target on Bitcoin, $25,000 price target on Bitcoin to the downside. It may take a few months, okay? It may not happen right away, but if there's one thing the pandemic told us, right, team? If there's one thing that the pandemic taught us is that the stock market, right, and the crypto market, okay, it sometimes takes a staircase up, but in max panic, it'll take the elevator down. And sometimes it's not an elevator, sometimes it's a window. All right, so team, be frosty, be well, be safe. Have a good weekend. Thanks, and God bless. Thanks again, Megan, for helping out today. We really appreciate you. Yep. Hey, don't forget to follow the club. Follow your mods. We appreciate y'all, family. Appreciate everybody.